Normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
ALX on Twitter says, Taylor Lorenz says she's being shadow banned on Threads. And then a laughing, crying emoji. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, Taylor Lorenz is a very prominent mainstream media reporter. She's worked for a bunch of very large publications, very critical of Elon Musk, very left-leaning. Now, she, like many other woke reporters, left Twitter complaining that Elon Musk was going to make it riddled with hate speech or whatever. But now she has these threads up on Threads of all places, complaining that she is being censored. Let me just tell you, we're going over, our content production and everything and what we want to do. And we want to do sketches and jokes. We're working on the skateboarding show. And I'm like, we can put whatever we want on X. We can go on X. We can make any joke we want, no matter how vulgar or whatever. And Rumble, too. But Facebook will get banned. TikTok will get banned. Instagram will get banned. That's obvious to anyone with a brain. So all of these woke journalists that thought they were going to rush over to Threads and are now complaining about it. Surprise, surprise. I posted the cover of yesterday's New York Post to Threads, talking about how hypocritical the New York Post is in their criticism of Meta when they published the same four thinspo images they're bashing Meta for. I don't know what she's referring to. What did Threads do? Locked me out of my Instagram account until I deleted the thread and sent this message to my Threads account saying they're going to shadow ban me. Absolutely insane levels of censorship where we can't even discuss the media's coverage of Meta on Meta's own apps. Well, on Twitter, you can talk about whatever you want. How are we supposed to critique media or cover the media when Meta essentially bans all discussions of certain stories and topics? It's terrible for free expression, and I wish more people in the media held Meta to account for their dangerously blunt moderation tactics. What I absolutely love about this is that this tweet could have been from 6 years ago on Twitter from someone on the right, and now it's coming from a woke reporter who is on Mark Zuckerberg's Threads, and she did not have to leave Twitter. Like, things have gotten so much better. So let me just say, this is, I guess it's schadenfreude. That's kind of funny. That's why Alex is posting the laughing emoji to see Taylor Lorenz be like, oh no, I'm being censored. It's like, well, that kind of proves our point, right? Others are probably just gloating in her being censored. But I think it's a good sign. And I think it shows you how important it was that Elon Musk took the actions that he did. It proves him right.
It kind of reminds me of the reverse of when people who are liberal and live in big cities move to small towns and then want to change it. Like, she was somewhere that had free speech, left it, and now it's like, but why is there no free speech? This is crazy. I don't think Zuckerberg promised anyone anything other than to sell all your data to China. And that's my personal opinion.
I think, I'll just go as conspiratorial as possible. I think Threads is probably U.S. intelligence agencies.
It's just feds.
I totally forgot it existed. But to your point, this always cracks me up, I guess, like ALX, because I love when this sort of thing happens to leftists, right? Because it's the monster that they created coming for them. They were totally fine with the revolution until they became the target. Taylor Lorenz, I think the Twitter files showed, reported more accounts than practically any other user on the platform. She was a champion for the censorship cause. And now it's coming for her. And I think it's hilarious to watch.
It's also this phenomenon where people will go from system to system to system, and they'll see the same problem in every system, but they'll go like, this system's broken. Who's in charge of this system? Fix it. They go to the next one. This system's broken. Who's in charge of this? Fix it. But what they don't see is the pattern.
Yeah. It would have been interesting if she had been like, as an experiment, I posted this thing to see how Meta would respond to it, and they have censored me, and therefore Meta doesn't like whatever. But instead it's like, I am the victim. This system is not helping me the way I think it should. It's not obeying my desires, even though it never agreed to give me these things in the first place. It's
only worse. Instagram's way worse. And the funny thing is, when conservatives and libertarians came out and said, yeah, Threads is way worse, we all tried it, the leftist media organizations came out and accused all of us of being conspiracy theorists and lying and making these stories up. And now they're reaping what they've sown. They all jumped onto this. Look, X, Twitter, whatever, is this massive shit. And there's concerns about whether or not there's going to be enough fuel for it because all these advertisers are pulling out. Fine. But Mark Zuckerberg pulls up on this dinghy and he's like, everybody hop on board. And they're all like, yeah. And they all jump onto this little dinghy that Mark Zuckerberg's driving around in, and it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And now, and this is what we get. So I don't know. I guess people can revel in schadenfreude or whatever. But going back to what I was saying, I think it's deep state. I think we can say a few things that are absolutely fair. One, it is not a conspiracy. It's actually a fact. It is historical record. U.S. intelligence agencies were in direct communication with all of the big tech companies running social media to manipulate and control speech. This was directly related to the Hunter Biden laptop interfering with elections. That's how extreme it was. I was personally targeted by the government and leftist tactics with the what was it? The EIC? Was it EIP election? It was EIP, right? Election Integrity Partnership or something, where they tried getting people banned and taking things down, and they did successfully do this. Government colluding with researchers. They call them researchers. This is how they can launder government censorship. We know for a fact they're doing it. Okay. Then Elon Musk says he's going to buy X. And he's going to, there's talk of restoring all these accounts, bringing people back. And deep state's going to get exposed. Intelligence agencies did get exposed. At the exact same time this is going down, Mark Zuckerberg announces Threads. Simple solution is that Zuckerberg said, hey, I got a great opportunity to make a competitor right now to Twitter. And all these people who are mad Elon's buying it, we can give them space.
He created a Canada equivalent.
Yeah, and that's a simple explanation. And now I'll give you the simple conspiratorial explanation, which I believe is extremely likely to be true. Upon announcing this, the CIA, the FBI, Biden administration contacted Mark Zuckerberg because they were already in direct communication and said, we definitely want to be able to access Threads in the same way as everything else. And Zuck probably said, don't worry, it'll function the same as other platforms. You will have access. And that's where we are now. There's the bolder, more less likely conspiracy in that the deep state directly went to Zuckerberg and said, you got to do something about this. You need to make some kind of competitor. Can you do it? I would not be surprised, to be honest, to find out that someone in government went to Zuckerberg and suggested it. Not that they demanded it or mandated it, but I wouldn't be surprised if some emails got released through a FOIA request, something where it shows someone in the Biden White House said, hey, Mark, are you able to make something? Because, this Twitter stuff is bad. And then Zuckerberg said yes.
I think it's arrogance on Zuckerberg's part, though, to think that his technology and what he would build would be able to compete with Twitter/X or whatever it was called at the time. I mean, people are really devoted to Twitter as a platform. It was revolutionary in what it was creating. And I think that original medium, we've seen other people. I mean, there's Truth Social. There are a couple other competitors out there that just haven't been able to achieve it. And so to think, oh, well, because it's already connected to your Instagram account, therefore somehow that will convert people, I think just shows how out of touch or how much he underestimated X and Elon's ability to retain loyal supporters.
It's like Google Plus. Remember that?
For like a second, but I forgot what it was. And they had Hangouts. Was that a thing?
Yeah, Hangouts. Hangouts were actually pretty big for a while.
They were?
And Google Plus wasn't. But Hangouts were because it was the easiest way to do a web-based live chat with multiple people. Oh, now it's all Zoom or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if Google made Hangouts and kept pushing that, people wouldn't be doing Zoom meetings. They'd be doing Hangouts. Yeah. Because that's what a lot of people were doing. But
they just had to get that pandemic earlier. If only.
You know what the thing about Google is? They just don't understand how to be cool. So what happens is everyone's pissed at Facebook. So Google Plus announces, we're making a social platform, and everybody wanted it. But they said, no, limited users only. Send out a bunch of invites. Tons of people signed up. I actually had, what did I have? I had like 500,000 followers on Google Plus. Weird.
They totally mismanaged YouTube. They should have made YouTube the social network. Calling it Google Plus and Google Hangout and Google this and that.
And they tried doing that.
You had YouTube.
They tried doing that, and it was killing YouTube. So anyway, what they should have done at this point with Google Plus was, as soon as the demand was at maximum capacity and everybody wanted an invite, they should have said, I'm sorry, everyone, it's an exclusive platform only. And then 2 hours later said, you know what? We're opening it up, baby. And then they would have won instantly. Mm-hmm. They did the same thing with Google Glass. They launched something, everybody wants it. And then they say, nah, you can't have it. And then eventually some woke journalist goes, well, I didn't want it anyway. You're a glass hole. And then all of a sudden, nobody wants to buy Google Glass anymore. It went from the coolest thing everybody wanted to just total garbage.
Yeah, I had some faith when Google bought YouTube that it would be, I mean, they were able to start funding it with the partner program, which is pretty cool. But like Larry and Sergey are like uber nerds, so the company's kind of like uber nerdy. It's just the way it was built, the ethos of it. I like them, but they were nerdy.
There was a period, I think it was, let's see, what year would it have been? Maybe like 2013 or 14, I'm not sure. No, it was probably way earlier than that. Google was trying to integrate YouTube and Google Plus. They wanted YouTube to turn into Google Plus. And when they started integrating it, people started fleeing and complaining like crazy. And so then they backed off.
It was like they had 3 stops. You could either go to Google Plus, you could go to your Google Hangout, which was connected to your Google phone number, or was it to your other Google account? I had 3 of them, 3 different emails attached to 3 different accounts, and I couldn't get them to consolidate. It was such a mess.
I can understand why these platforms want to grow and become more things they have to compete. I mean, the same ways that Instagram added Reels, the short form video, to directly compete with TikTok, that makes sense to me. They're more similar. But I don't understand, and maybe it's because, and I don't know if anyone in this room can answer it, I don't understand the point of Threads. I've never opened it, and I'm not sure how it differentiates from the YouTube community tab.
Threads?
Isn't that what?
Threads is like Twitter.
Yeah,
it's
Threads.
Instagram.
Threads is like Twitter, but then YouTube has the community tab, right? Isn't that where people can message if they're really into a creator or whatever?
No, that's kind of like a Twitter feed for your YouTube, but it's basically linked to your YouTube. So it's used to, for the most part, hey guys, heads
just
up.
like announcements.
Yeah.
See, I feel like it would make more sense to me to have an integrated competitor to X on YouTube because people are already alive and well in the comment sections there. To make a competitor on Instagram seems weird to me.
I just opened Threads, and the first thing I see, I've got, let's see, Michaela Peterson, and then Charlie Kirk. And there's 2 replies to Charlie Kirk's post.
It's bumping
the
over there.
engagement's
3 likes.
terrible.
I don't know. Charlie, why are you using Threads?
You should make a Threads right now, Kingsley, and I bet you could be the most dominant person by the end of the episode.
There we go.
Oh, okay. I think Michaela Peterson's responding to a bunch of people criticizing her dad.
It's exhilarating.
Because
Matt
all the
Rife going
lefties went
on-
there, though, it's just like a cesspool of it's an echo chamber in many ways. And I feel like the fun parts about Twitter, about YouTube are fighting in the comments and seeing people dunk on other people. That's why I love Twitter. I think that's why a lot of people love Twitter.
Wow.
So when you take that away, you just lose the user experience.
Unless they start infighting, which could be interesting.
Maybe, yeah.
Who checked Threads during the outbreak of the Hamas-Israel conflict? Because maybe it was alive and well then.
Oh, I forgot to check my Threads. That's why.
Because that's when I think a lot of the left was up in arms. Not that it wasn't true on the right, but that was a particularly challenging times for the most progressive angle of the party versus the more moderate side. They were fighting a lot. I wonder if Threads allowed any kind of discontent.
I don't trust proprietary software in general, but I really don't trust public companies when they do social networks. X is private still at this. I'm pretty sure X is still private, and Minds is private. You have Rumble. Well, Rumble just went public. But that's like road to co-op.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.